Next, let's move on to item 6.4, our 9:15 a.m. item. A, presentation on the Konocti project, and B, consideration of permission to proceed with excavating and exploring the Mount Konocti summit vents. And Supervisor Pyska, this is your item.
So earlier this summer, I was invited by the Konocti project to tour Mount Konocti's vents and hear the history and the legends that has been driving the project for many decades. And I think it's exciting to explore what really could be here. There are ancient legends that talk about a giant cavern, possibly the biggest cavern in the world, and a lake inside our mountain. And I'm excited to have that exploration go forward. But we do, however, need to make sure that the project is reviewed in all the proper ways, and we have CEQA involved, and we have collaboration with our tribal nations. So that's really what I'm asking today, is to get the board's blessing to move ahead with that project with our director, Lars Ewing. So I'll turn it over to him, and he can talk more about the details of that. And if there's any other questions, we can talk about that for a few minutes as well.
Okay. All right. Good morning. Lars Ewing, Public Services Director. Supervisor Pyska summarized it well. I'd like to add one clarifier there, and that is maybe a little bit of history here that work has already been done in the past, 20 years ago, 30 years ago plus, by the Konocti project. When the county purchased a good portion of the property on the mountain, the work stopped, and they've reached back out to us with an interest to start it back up. But the fact that the county is now the landholder there, I felt that it was appropriate that we recommend to the group that they pursue basically a project review going through the California Environmental Quality Act, to ensure that process reviews the cumulative impacts. Supervisor Pyska referenced a few specific components of that, certainly the tribal consultation, but it extends beyond that. So I wanted to just emphasize that, and also indicate that it wouldn't be the county pursuing this. This is an outside entity that has an interest in doing a project that is on county land. But I'm fairly certain that a portion of it is not on county land, so it's not a county project. So what I would recommend is that they pursue a planning application that would trigger a CEQA review.
All right, thank you very much, Director Ewing. Anything further before we open it up for the board? No. All right. Any questions or comments from board members? And I know that I had a discussion with Supervisor Pyska, and I think that the title of the agenda item, that approving excavation, I think that is just, the idea is that they're looking to look for things, and in order to look for things, they're going to have to dig or excavate, but that the approval itself would go through the typical process, through planning, through CEQA, and so we are not the ones approving of that action. That action would be approved through a very thorough process that most people that do any kind of excavation would have to go through. But I also wanted to highlight the sensitivity of digging into a very an area of such historical importance to the stewards of our land here, and also digging into the legends as well, I think is a hypersensitive situation. I would love to know more about our mountain, but I want to make sure that we don't cross any lines that we should not be crossing. And I think that with my conversation with Supervisor Pyska, that this group is well aware of this, and we're already involved in conversations with our local tribes in the past. But I just wanted to make sure and highlight those comments, because I think that they remain important if this is approved and we move forward. And Supervisor Simon, I saw you unmuted yourself. Did you have a comment?
Yeah, obviously knowing our history is always very important. So I am in favor of the opportunity to look at the, exploring the events just for Lake County's history, but the very important on the tribal consultation side. As you know, the 7 tribal nations here, that is a very important, part of our history. Different names that come with that, different history, different legends that come off the mountain. But it is very important that the tribal consultation definitely does happen as we move forward with that. And just respecting that and hearing that in the presentation makes me feel a little better about moving forward with it, to be able to support it. But that tribal consultation part is very important. As we all know, when you're doing your ceremonies, you're doing your other things, you get to those highest points. Mount Konocti has such deep history with all of our tribes, and I know EJ's probably going to talk some, but there's a lot of history, that goes through that with that cultural significance of that mountain. For the Middletown Rancheria people and all the people around the lake, that's where Obsidian Man lives. That's where the giant sleeps. There's so many historical, just stories that we have of our people in that mountain. So that's what I have to say. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on it, but the consultation is very important.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Crandall, whether you're going to say something or not, you were summoned.
No, it's good. I was going to, so it's good. Yes, no, everything that's been said, I appreciate the emphasis on that. Just thinking about it in general, there's been times when none of that was even considered when it comes to artifacts that come to the local ancestors that we have here. And so, and there's been places where I've been where people, they have the land, they own the land, and they have all of these different artifacts that they want to do something with. And a lot of people are becoming more cognizant, more caring, more conscious of the fact that that could belong to an ancestor of mine or someone else in the local area. And so I'm very appreciative to see that being considered. And there are different stories from the different tribes locally. I mean, even though there's 7, we all have somewhat of a different dialect or specification as to our belief or stories that have come from those. So this is a very interesting project that will probably help with some of that. So yeah, I wanted to just highlight that.
Thank you very much. Any further comments before I open it up for the public? All right, I see that we have a hand up. Elizabeth Larson from Lake County News. And I see that your microphone is unmuted, but we are not hearing you. So she's asking a question via chat. Who is involved with the Konocti project? Supervisor Paiska or Director Ewing? Do you have a response on that?
So the main representative that has contacted me, and I believe Supervisor Paiska, is Kevin Keeley. He's been the point. I'm not sure who else is involved with the Konocti project, but that's the individual that I've been involved with.
I know that Supervisor Paiska, you mentioned in your agenda item USGS. Is the Konocti project already involved with USGS? Is that who they were working with in the past when they were doing some excavations before it stopped?
They would like to bring USGS back to help with the project. Okay. So they're not involved at this time. Okay. There's been a fair amount of seismic activity over the past couple of years, so they want to look into that as well with the vents.
All right, thank you. And Elizabeth Larson, if you had some further questions, if you can get the number to call in for the Zoom meeting, that way you might be able to get further questions in. Next, let's go ahead and unmute Kuchin Gary Thomas.
Hear me?
If you can speak a little bit louder, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
So yeah, I really appreciate the effort of wanting to with the exploration with the Mount Konocti and everything else in between. And it's not only, you know, for this benefit, but it also can help, you know, educate not myself but everybody else in the county. So I think this is a good opportunity for you guys to go ahead and move forward with this. That's all I have.
Thank you for your comment. And last call for public comment. And we have Ancha B. Nidia. If you can please provide your name, just in case that I accidentally butchered that, and I apologize if I did.
Hello, can you hear me?
We sure can.
Yes, hi. No, you didn't butcher my name. That is Ansha. I am really sorry. I just got this text and I just tuned in. And I have absolutely no idea what was discussed, but I have a question, and I'm just wondering if it's proper for me to ask it here. It's about...
If it's about the Mount Konocti project, then yes, you can ask. If it's about a different agenda item, then you need to wait till that agenda item comes. And if we've already passed that item, then we've already closed out those items. We haven't really discussed any other items other than proclamations, other than our consent agenda.
Consent agenda.
Are you speaking on Konocti project?
I don't know what it is. I haven't been able to be part of any of this.
So you're going to need to look up our agenda to figure out what items are on the agenda, because I don't want to have a conversation with you to try to figure out how to get you to the right item.
Okay, how do I do that?
If you go to our website, you'll find agenda right on the front page of our website, and then just click on our 9/14 meeting.
Okay, and your website is?
LakeCountyCA.gov.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and close public comment and bring it back to the board for either further deliberation or action.
So if anyone wants to know more about the Konocti project, there's a really long YouTube video. I think it's about an hour. You can search there and get familiar with the history of the project. But there has been some excavation of the summit vent, as Director Ewing talked about and discussed, and it's been a long time since they worked on that, and that vent could be the key to exploring the inside of the mountain. We do want to proceed with the utmost sensitivity with the cultural significance of our mountain, and I don't think that we're approving the excavation today. I think we just want to get consensus, possibly to give permission to the Konocti project to move ahead with to submit their project proposal. Is that what I'm a little bit confused on the motion that we would be making today.
If I could, okay, I would just recommend direction to staff to communicate back to the Konocti project that they should submit the appropriate documentation or application to planning for a project to be reviewed.
So do we need to make that motion, or do we do that by consensus?
That's up to you, either way.
Okay.
It's not required to be a motion. It can just be direction.
Okay. So consensus on direction to have staff respond to the Konocti project.
Looks like you're getting a yes from our comments as well as the nods that we're seeing on Zoom. So I would say that is your consensus.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Direction given.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing it to the board, and thank you, Director Ewing.